The warning signal came at dawn. Every screen across Earth lit up at the same moment. Every phone buzzed. Every radio crackled to life. The message was simple and terrifying. People of Earth, this is Commander Vexstar of the Vren Collective. We have found you. 6,000 years ago, you attacked our scout ships without mercy. You showed us only violence and hate. We fled from your savage world. But we never forgot. We never forgave. Now we return with the full might of our empire. Surrender your world and all your colonies. You have 48 hours. Resist, and we will erase humanity from existence. The transmission ended. Silence filled the air for exactly 3 seconds. Then Admiral Tay, sitting in the command center of Earth's defense headquarters, did something unexpected. He smiled. Finally, he said quietly. He turned to his second officer. Send our response. Standard diplomatic protocol. Tell them we received their message. Thank them for the advance notice. And ask if next Tuesday works for them. The young officer stared at him. Sir? You heard me. Be polite. Oh, and activate Protocol Guardian. Send the alert to all defense stations. Across the planet, people checked their phones and screens. They saw the alien message. They saw Earth's calm response. Children going to school barely glanced at the news. Adults continued their morning routines. In Seoul, a grandmother making breakfast simply turned off her television. More drama, she muttered. This was not the reaction the Vren expected. Dr. Hana stood in her laboratory, watching the alien ships through the observatory feed. They were massive. Hundreds of warships hung at the edge of the solar system like dark clouds. Their weapon ports glowed with threatening energy. Any other civilization would be trembling. Earth's telescopes simply studied them with scientific curiosity. Interesting design, Hana said to her assistant. They still use plasma-based weapons. How old-fashioned. She made notes on her tablet. I want full spectral analysis. Compare their hull composition to our records from the first contact. Her assistant looked nervous. Doctor, shouldn't we be worried? They have hundreds of ships. Hannah looked up, surprised. Worried? Oh, you must be new to this department. Don't worry. This is what we've been preparing for. She pointed at a display showing Earth's orbital grid. Millions of small lights blinked in patterns around the planet. See those? Those are just the first defense ring. We have 53 more. John Ho sat in the pilot-ready room with his squadron. They were playing cards. The alarm had sounded 20 minutes ago, but no one seemed rushed. His friend Quan laid down a winning hand and grinned. War with aliens, Quan said. Finally, something interesting happens. Don't get too excited, their squadron leader said. She was older, maybe 40, with calm eyes. Remember your training. This isn't a game. Yes, Commander. Jun-Ho gathered the cards. But aren't you even a little bit excited? We've been training our whole lives for this. The commander smiled. I trained my whole life hoping I'd never need these skills. But yes, I'm ready. Above them, the hangar bay opened to show thousands of fighters. Each one gleamed with technology the Vren could not imagine. Jun-Ho had trained in these ships since he was 15. He could fly them with his thoughts alone. Every human pilot could dot in the government center. Ambassador Nari stood before the United Earth Council. Leaders from every nation attended through hologram. Not one showed fear. They had practiced this meeting 1,000 times. The Vren have declared war, Nari said simply. As expected, Admiral Tay has activated our defense protocols. All colonies have been alerted. All military assets are ready. Do we try to talk to them? Ask the representative from Europe. We already did, Nari replied. They weren't interested in conversations 6,000 years ago. They won't be now. but we'll keep the channel open. Maybe after they see what we've become, they'll reconsider. And if they attack? Asked the African Union representative. Admiral Tay stepped forward. His uniform was simple, decorated only with a single patch. The patch showed Earth surrounded by protective hands. Then we show them why humanity survived. We show them what 6,000 years of preparation means. In space, hidden among the asteroids, a single human watched. His name was Day, and he had been living among the neutral species for 10 years. He was a spy, gathering information. He watched the Vren fleet through his observation equipment and shook his head. They have no idea, he whispered. He typed a message into his encrypted communicator. Fleet composition confirmed. 300 capital ships. 2,000 support vessels. Weapons analysis attached. They're using 4th-generation technology. Recommend minimal response. This won't take long. The message traveled instantly to Earth. In the command center, Admiral Tay read it and nodded. As we thought, they haven't advanced much. Prepare response level 3. No lethal force. Disable only. His officers moved efficiently. No panic. No fear. They had trained for this exact scenario 10,000 times. Every simulation, every possibility, every outcome had been studied and prepared for. Outside Earth, the defense platforms came online. They were invisible to the Vren sensors. They had been waiting in sleep mode for 6,000 years. Now they awakened. Millions of them. Each one no bigger than a human fist. Each one containing technology that would seem like magic to the approaching enemy. The Vren fleet began moving toward Earth. Their commander, Vextar, felt certain of victory. He remembered the old stories. Humans were violent, yes, but primitive, barely capable of space travel. His warriors were ready. His weapons were charged. This would be easy. He did not know that humanity had changed. He did not know that the species he remembered no longer existed. The humans of 6,000 years ago had been afraid, aggressive, and divided. The humans waiting for him now were none of those things. They were ready. Admiral Tay watched the enemy fleet approach on his screens. He sipped his tea calmly. Beside him, Dr. Hana analyzed their formation. Junho and his squadron performed final checks on their fighters. Ambassador Nari prepared her speech. General Wu, an old veteran, simply smiled. Let them come, Tay said softly. Let them see what we've become. And then let's teach them why war was never the answer. The first battle in 6,000 years was about to begin. But it would not be the battle the Vren expected. It would not be a battle at all. It would be a lesson, a demonstration, a moment when one species learned that true strength was not about the ability to destroy, it was about the choice not to. Commander Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the small blue planet ahead, Earth. The name still made his blood cold. 6,000 years had passed, but the Vren remembered. They always remembered. Sir, we've received a response from Earth, his communications officer said. Already? Vextar turned. What did they say? Do they beg for mercy? The officer looked confused. No, sir. They thanked us for contacting them. They asked if next Tuesday works better for us. They say they need time to prepare a proper welcome. Silence filled the bridge. Vextar's scales darkened with anger. They mock us? They dare to joke? I don't think it's a joke, sir. The message seems genuine. They sound polite. Vextar slammed his fist on the console. Impossible. They should be terrified. They should be evacuating their planet. Why are they not running? He activated the long-range sensors. Show me their military response. Show me their ships fleeing. The sensors showed nothing. Earth's orbital space looked calm. A few transport ships moved between stations. Everything seemed normal. It was as if the entire planet had not just received a declaration of war. "Perhaps they don't believe us," suggested his tactical officer. "Perhaps they think this is a hoax." Vexstar thought back to the old records. 6,000 years ago, the Vren had sent scout ships to explore new worlds. They found Earth. The humans then were primitive. They had barely reached their own moon. The Vren scouts thought first contact would be simple. They were wrong. The humans had attacked immediately. No communication. No diplomacy. Just violence. They destroyed 2 scout ships with primitive nuclear weapons. They killed hundreds of Vren warriors. The survivors fled in terror, spreading stories of the savage world. The world where monsters lived. For 6,000 years, the Vren prepared. They built their fleet. They improved their weapons. They created an empire spanning 20 star systems. All for this moment. All for revenge. "They are still the same," Vexstar said. "Violent, aggressive, dangerous. But now we are ready. Now we are stronger." Far from the Vren fleet, on a neutral trading station, they watched everything. He looked human. He was human. But he had lived here for 10 years, pretending to be a merchant, learning alien languages, gathering information. He was one of hundreds of human agents spread across the galaxy. The Vren liked to drink at a bar near the docking area. They sat nearby, listening. They talked loudly, confident no one understood their language. They were wrong. They understood every word. "Those humans think they can laugh at us," one Vren warrior said. "They will learn. Commander Vexstar will show them." "Do you think they've improved?" another asked. "It's been 6,000 years. Improved?" The first warrior laughed. "They are humans. They probably destroyed themselves in wars. They probably haven't changed at all. They will be easy to conquer." They wanted to smile but kept his face neutral. He took a drink and continued listening. The Vren had no idea. None at all. He quietly sent another message to Earth. "They believe you are still primitive. They expect easy victory. Recommend allowing them to approach. Let them see the truth up close." Back on the Vren flagship, Vexstar studied old images of Earth. They were 6,000 years old. They showed cities made of steel and concrete, ships that used chemical fuel, weapons that were crude and simple. This was the enemy he expected to find. "How long until we reach Earth?" he asked. 3 days at current speed," replied his navigator. "Good. Send a second message. Tell them their time is running out. Tell them to abandon their cities. Tell them we are coming." The message was sent. Earth's response came within minutes. Admiral Tay himself appeared on their screens. He was an older man with gray hair and calm eyes. He wore a simple uniform. He looked more like a teacher than a warrior. "Commander Vexstar," Tay said politely. "We received your message. Thank you for the update. We understand you're coming to Earth. We're preparing accommodations for your delegation. Do you have any dietary restrictions? We want to make sure everyone is comfortable." Vexstar stared at the screen. "Dietary restrictions? Are you insane? We are not visiting. We are invading." Tay nodded slowly. "Yes, we understood that from your first message. But there seems to be some confusion. You're basing your decision on information that's 6,000 years old. Perhaps we should talk before anyone does something they'll regret." "Talk? We tried to talk 6,000 years ago. You answered with weapons." "That's true," Tay admitted. "And it was wrong. We were young, afraid. We made terrible mistakes. But we've learned since then. We've changed. Perhaps you should come and see." Vexstar cut the communication. "He's trying to trick us, to make us lower our guard. It won't work. But something in Admiral Tay's eyes bothered him. There was no fear, no anger, just calm certainty. Like someone who knew something Vexstar did not. The Vren fleet continued forward. Warriors checked their weapons. Pilots prepared their attack ships. Everyone expected battle. Everyone expected to finally crush the species that had humiliated them so long ago. In the war room, Vexstar gathered his commanders. They stood around a holographic display of Earth. "This is our target," Vexstar said. 6,000 years ago, they beat us because we were unprepared. We thought they were harmless. We know better now. This time, we strike with full force. No mercy, no hesitation. "What about their response?" asked one commander. "They seem too calm." "They're in denial," Vexstar said. "Or they're trying to trick us. Either way, it doesn't matter. We have 300 capital ships, 2,000 support vessels, the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. What can they possibly do?" What they didn't know was that Earth had asked the same question 6,000 years ago. What can we do? And then humanity had spent 6 millennia answering it. They sent one final message before the Vren fleet moved out of communication range. They're committed. No diplomatic solution possible. They want war. Recommend showing them why that's a bad idea. Try not to hurt them too much. They're brave, just ignorant. Admiral Tay read the message and sighed. Such a waste. They traveled so far for this. Very well. All defense stations, prepare for contact. Remember, minimum force. These are not our enemies. They're just confused. The Vren fleet approached Earth orbit. Vexstar stood proudly on his bridge. His warriors were ready. His weapons were charged. This was the moment they had waited for. The moment of revenge. All ships, prepare to attack, he commanded. Show them the might of the Vren collective. Show them what happens when you anger us. The fleet moved forward, weapons glowing with power. They expected resistance. They expected Earth's primitive ships to emerge and fight. They expected a glorious battle. What they got instead would change everything they believed about humans. About war. About strength that the Vren thought they knew what they would find. They were completely, absolutely wrong. The Museum of Preparation stood in the center of Geneva. It was not a popular tourist spot. Most people had seen it during school. Every human child visited this place at least once. Today, Jungho's younger sister Mireille was on her class trip. Her teacher, an elderly woman named Mina, guided the students through the halls. 6,000 years ago, Mina began, humanity made first contact with an alien species. It went badly. We were afraid. We were divided. Different nations still competed with each other. When the Vren scout ships arrived, we didn't try to communicate. We attacked. The children looked at old displays showing primitive rockets and nuclear weapons. One boy raised his hand. Why did we attack them? Fear, Mina said simply. We didn't understand. We thought they came to hurt us. So we hurt them first. 2 of their ships were destroyed. Many Vren died. The survivors escaped and told their people that humans were monsters. She led them to the next room. It showed Earth immediately after the Vren left. We realized our mistake too late. We knew the Vren would come back. Maybe in 100 years. Maybe in 1,000. But they would come back angry. So humanity had to make a choice. A girl asked, "What choice?" The choice to change everything. Mina showed them images of Earth's transformation. Within 10 years of the Vren encounter, every nation had joined into one government. Wars ended. Borders became meaningless. Every resource, every mind, every effort focused on one goal. Prepare for the return. We didn't know when they would come, Mina explained. So we prepared as if they could come tomorrow. Every single day for 6,000 years. The children moved through halls, showing humanity's progress. In the first 100 years, Earth had colonized the Moon and Mars. In the next 1,000 years, 300 star systems. Each colony was built with defense in mind. Each one had hidden military stations. Each one could survive on its own. We built weapons, Mina said quietly. Terrible weapons. Weapons we hoped we would never use. But we built them because we needed to be ready. One display showed the quantum shields. Another showed nano-defense swarms. A third displayed the gravity manipulation technology. The children didn't fully understand it all. They would learn more as they got older. Every human did. Meanwhile, in a facility beneath Geneva, engineer Yuna walked through the control center of Earth's defense network. General Wu walked beside her. He was old now, maybe 70, but still strong. He had spent his entire life preparing for this moment. "Show me the constellation network," Wu said. Yuna touched the panel. A holographic display appeared, showing the entire solar system. Millions of tiny lights blinked. "Every light is a defense platform," she explained. "Each one is about the size of your fist. Each one contains enough power to disable a capital ship. We have 53 rings of them surrounding Earth. The Vren will have to pass through all of them to reach us. And they won't even see them," Wu said with satisfaction. "Not until it's too late. The platforms are invisible to their sensors. We studied the old Vren technology carefully. We know exactly what they can and cannot detect." Yuna pulled up another display. "This is our fighter fleet. We have 100,000 ships ready to launch. Each one is piloted by neural interface. Each pilot trained from childhood." Wu nodded. He remembered his own training. Every human child started at age 5. Not with weapons, but with strategy, with thinking, with problem solving. By age 10, they learned about defense systems. By 15, they could pilot a fighter. By 20, they understood warfare better than ancient generals ever had. But they also learned something else. Something more important. "Did you ever think we might be wasting our time?" Yuna asked quietly. 6,000 years preparing for a war that might never come? Every day, Wu admitted. But it wasn't wasted. Look what we became. No poverty. No hunger. No wars among ourselves. We united completely. We focused on science, on progress, on making ourselves better. If the Vren never came, we still won." Yuna smiled. "And now they're here." "Now they're here," Wu agreed. "And they're about to learn what 6,000 years of preparation means." Back in the museum, Mina had brought her students to the final hall. It showed modern Earth, cities that floated, technology that seemed like magic, ships that could cross the galaxy, but also something else: gardens, art, music, culture. "We prepared for war," Mina told the children. "But we never became warriors. We remained human. We still create. We still dream. We still hope. That's important. The Vren think strength means weapons. We know strength means choices." A small boy looked confused. "If we're so strong, why don't we attack them first?" Mina knelt down to his level. "Because that's what we did 6,000 years ago. And it was wrong. We learned that strength isn't about who hits first. It's about who knows when not to hit at all." The children thought about this. They were too young to fully understand. But they would. Every human eventually understood. It was part of their education, part of their culture, part of what made them different. Admiral Tay stood in the command center, watching the approaching Vren fleet. Beside him, Captain Sora reviewed their battle plans. She commanded the flagship Eternal Vigil, the most advanced ship in Earth's fleet. but she hoped she wouldn't need to fire a single shot. "They're 3 hours away," Sora said. "All defense rings are active. All pilots are ready. We can disable their entire fleet in approximately 8 minutes. 8 minutes, Tay repeated. 6,000 years of preparation. 8 minutes of action. Strange how that works." Dr. Hannah joined them, carrying her tablet. "I've been analyzing their communications. They're angry, vengeful, but also scared, I think. They've built their entire civilization around the memory of us, around the fear of us. Coming back here must be terrifying for them." "Good," said Tay. "Fear makes people think. Maybe they'll reconsider. And if they don't, then we show them mercy. We disable their weapons. We immobilize their ships. We do not hurt them. And then we talk to them like adults." Junho sat in his fighter, waiting. Around him, thousands of other pilots waited too. They were connected by neural links. They could feel each other's presence. One mind, one purpose. But not a war mind. A defense mind. His squadron leader spoke through the link. "Remember your training. These are not enemies. They're people who are scared and angry. We stopped them. We don't hurt them, clear?" "Clear," came the response from thousands of pilots. "Good. Let's show them what humanity has become." The Vren fleet crossed into the outer solar system. They passed Neptune, then Uranus, then Saturn. Nothing stopped them. No resistance. No defense. Vexstar frowned. "Where are their ships?" He demanded. "We detect nothing, sir. No military vessels. No defense platforms. Nothing. They're hiding," Vexstar decided. "Waiting to ambush us. Stay alert." They continued forward. Past Jupiter. Past the asteroid belt. Still nothing. Earth in ahead, blue and beautiful and apparently defenseless. "This is too easy," one of Vexstar's commanders said nervously. "Or they've already surrendered," Vexstar replied. "Prepare to enter Earth orbit. Prepare to broadcast terms of conquest." They had no idea that they had already passed through 40 defense rings. They had no idea that millions of tiny platforms surrounded them, invisible and waiting. They had no idea that their every move was being analyzed, predicted, and countered. They had no idea that humanity had been ready for 6,000 years, and they were about to find out. The Vren fleet entered Earth's orbit. 300 capital ships. 2,000 support vessels. Weapons charged and ready. Commander Vexstar stood on his bridge, proud and confident. This was the moment of victory. The moment of revenge. "All ships, target the planet," he ordered. "Prepare to fire on my command." His weapons officer worked the controls. Target locks activated. Energy weapons powered up. The fleet was ready to turn Earth's surface into burning glass. "Sir, I'm detecting something," the sensor officer said suddenly. His voice sounded worried. "What is it?" "I don't know. The sensors just went strange. There's something out here with us." "Lots of somethings. Explain." "I can't. They just appeared. All around us. Millions of small objects." Vexstar looked at the tactical display. His blood went cold. The Vren fleet was surrounded. Completely surrounded. Millions of tiny dots filled the screen, forming perfect spheres around each ship. "What are those?" he whispered. He got his answer immediately. The small objects activated. They were defense drones, each no bigger than a human hand. Each one contained technology the Vren could not imagine. They swarmed toward the Vren ships like insects. "They're attacking," someone shouted. But they weren't attacking. They were disabling. The drones landed on the hull of every Vren ship. They moved too fast to track, too small to target. Within seconds, thousands covered each vessel. Weapons offline. The weapons officer reported in panic. How? What did they do? They're eating our power systems. No, not eating. They're redirecting the energy somehow. All weapons are dead. Engines are dead. Life support is still functioning, but everything else is gone. Vexstar couldn't believe it. His entire fleet, helpless, in less than 30 seconds. Send a message to all ships. Manual weapons. Use backup systems. Fight back. Sir, there are no backup systems. They've disabled everything electronic. We're completely dead in space. Admiral Tay watched from Earth's command center. The tactical display showed every Vren ship now floating helplessly in orbit. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just disabled. Perfectly, completely disabled. First defense ring successful, reported Yuna. No casualties. No damage to enemy vessels. All Vren ships immobilized. Good, Tay said. Now activate Ring 2. Let's make sure they understand. In space, the Vren warriors felt their ships lurch. Gravity changed. Not disappeared. Changed. They found themselves pressed against the walls as their ships began to spin slowly. Not fast enough to hurt anyone. Just enough to be very uncomfortable. What's happening? Vexstar demanded, grabbing a support rail. Gravitational manipulation, his science officer said in awe. They're controlling gravity itself. I've never seen anything like this. Make it stop. I can't. We have no power. No control. We're completely at their mercy. The spinning stopped. The gravity returned to normal. But now the Vren fleet was arranged in a perfect line, like toys on a shelf. Every ship equally spaced. Every ship facing Earth. It was a demonstration. A message. We can move you wherever we want. Vexstar felt fear for the first time. Real fear. They had come here expecting to fight primitives. Instead, they found gods. Open a channel, he said quietly. Connect me to Earth. Admiral Tay's face appeared on the screen. He still looked calm, almost sympathetic. Commander Vexstar, Tay said. Are you ready to talk now? What? What are you? We're human. Same as we were 6,000 years ago. But we learned. We grew. We prepared. You could have destroyed us in seconds. Yes, Tay agreed. We could have. We chose not to. That's what 6,000 years taught us. Power means nothing if you don't know when not to use it. Junho and his squadron launched. Not to attack. To demonstrate. Their fighters streamed from Earth like silver birds. They moved in patterns that seemed impossible. They danced around the Vren ships, showing speed and maneuverability that defied physics. Each fighter was controlled by neural interface. The pilot's thoughts became the ship's movements. No delay. No lag. Perfect unity between mind and machine. The Vren watched in stunned silence as thousands of human fighters performed a perfect ballet around their helpless fleet. One young Vren pilot watched from his disabled ship. His name was Krull. He was 20 years old and had trained his whole life for this battle. He had expected glory. He had expected to be a hero. Instead, he felt like a child who had challenged an adult to a fight. A human fighter approached his canopy. Through the transparent metal, he could see the pilot inside. The pilot was young too, maybe his age. The human made a gesture, a wave, just a simple, friendly wave. Then the fighter spun away, joining the others in their impossible dance. Krell felt something break inside him. Not his pride, something deeper. The certainty he had carried his whole life. The belief that the Vren were strong and humans were monsters. It was all wrong. All of it. Dr. Hana's voice came over the Vren communication channel. She spoke in their language, perfectly pronounced. Commander Vexstar, We know you're confused. We know you're frightened. That's okay. Let us explain what happened. The main display showed Earth's history, the transformation, the preparation, the 6,000 years of growth. We didn't forget what we did, Hana said. We attacked you without provocation. We killed your people. It was wrong. We were young and stupid and afraid. We've regretted it every day since. She showed images of the Museum of Preparation, the defense rings, the technology, the training. We spent 6,000 years getting ready for your return. We built these weapons, these defenses. We made ourselves strong enough to defeat you easily. And then we made a choice to be better than our fear. A choice to use our strength to protect, not destroy. Captain Sora brought the Eternal Vigil alongside Vextar's flagship. The human ship was smaller but elegant. It moved with grace that made the Ren vessels look clumsy. We're going to release your ships, Tay said. We're going to restore your power, your weapons, everything. You'll be free to leave or free to attack us again. The choice is yours. Vextar stared. You're letting us go? After we came here to destroy you? Yes, because that's what civilization means. That's what being truly strong means. Anyone can destroy. Only the wise know when to show mercy. But why? Vextar asked. His voice cracked. We came here with hate. We wanted revenge. We wanted to kill you. Why do you show us kindness? Because someone has to break the cycle, Tay said simply. 6,000 years ago, we attacked you out of fear. You came here today to attack us out of revenge. If we destroy you now, your people will come back in another 6,000 years seeking revenge for you. And it will never end. Someone has to be brave enough to say, no more. Let it end here. The defense drones lifted from the Vren ships. Power returned. Weapons came back online. The gravitational hold released. The entire Vren fleet was free. They could attack. They could run. They could do anything. Vextar looked at his weapons console. He looked at Earth, beautiful and blue below him. He looked at the human fighters flying peacefully nearby. He looked at Admiral Tay's calm face on his screen. For 6,000 years, his people had prepared for this war. They had built their entire civilization around the memory of human violence, around fear and hate. They had come here expecting monsters. Instead, they found teachers. Slowly, Vextar reached for his controls. His officers watched in silence. The entire bridge held its breath. He could order the attack. He could fire everything they had at Earth. He could try to hurt them. His hand moved past the weapons controls. He pressed a different button. The communications button. Fleet, he said quietly. Stand down. All ships, power down weapons. All ships, stand down. On Earth, every human held their breath. Junho gripped his controls, ready to respond if needed. Yuna watched her screens carefully. General Wu closed his eyes and hoped. Admiral Tay waited. Patient, calm, trusting. Admiral Tay, Vextar said. His voice was different now, humbled. We came here for war. You offered us peace. I don't understand, but I want to. Will you? Can we talk? Tay smiled. It was a genuine, warm smile. Commander Vextar, nothing would make us happier. Welcome to Earth. Let's talk. 3 days later, Commander Vextar stood on Earth's surface for the first time. He had expected to land as a conqueror. Instead, he arrived as a guest. Ambassador Nari met him at the landing site with a warm smile. Welcome to Geneva, she said. I hope your journey down was comfortable. Vextar looked around. He saw mountains in the distance. Clean air. Beautiful buildings that seemed to grow from the ground rather than being built on it. People walked peacefully through streets. Children played in parks. No weapons. No soldiers. No fear. Where are your defenses? He asked. Everywhere, Nari replied. And nowhere. We don't need visible defenses anymore. But that's not important right now. Come. Admiral Tay is waiting. They walked through the city. Ren warriors followed nervously. Humans passed them without concern. Some smiled. Some nodded in greeting. One child waved. A Vren soldier waved back hesitantly. They're not afraid of us, Vextar said, confused. Why should they be? You've already shown us your worst. We've already shown you ours. Now we can move past that. Admiral Tay waited in a simple room with large windows. The view showed mountains and forests. Dr. Hana was there. General Wu, Captain Sora, Juho stood near the back, still in his pilot uniform. He wanted to see this moment. Vextar entered slowly. He looked at these humans carefully. They were not the monsters from old stories. They were just people. Smart people. Kind people. Dangerous people. Yes. But not cruel. Please, sit. Tay gestured to comfortable chairs. We have much to discuss. They sat. For a long moment, no one spoke. Finally, Vextar broke the silence. I don't understand you, he said. We came to destroy you. You could have wiped us out in minutes. Why didn't you? Tay leaned back in his chair. Let me tell you a story. 6,000 years ago, we met your people. We were afraid. We didn't understand. So we attacked. We killed many Vren. It was wrong. Terribly wrong. He pulled up a display showing the old records. The destroyed Vren ships. The casualties. After you left, we realized what we had done. We had committed murder out of fear. We couldn't take it back. We couldn't apologize because you were gone. So we did the only thing we could. We prepared for your return. And we promised ourselves we would never make that mistake again. Dr. Hannah spoke next. We studied your people, your culture, your history. We learned that you fled from us in terror, that you built your whole civilization around the memory of us, around fear of the violent humans. We understood then that we had created our own enemy. Our violence made you violent. Vextar felt shame wash over him. We spent 6,000 years preparing to hurt you, and we spent 6,000 years preparing to stop you without hurting you, Tay said. That was harder. Much harder. It's easy to build weapons that destroy. It's difficult to build weapons that only disable. It's easy to kill. It's hard to show mercy. General Wu spoke for the first time. His voice was rough but kind. I'm 72 years old. I've spent my entire life training for war, training others for war, building defenses, planning battles. You know what I learned? What? The strongest warrior is the one who never has to fight. Real strength isn't about defeating your enemy. It's about turning your enemy into your friend. Vextar's hand shook. But we hated you. We wanted revenge. We came here to kill you all. We know, Nari said gently. And we don't blame you. We hurt you, first. Your anger was justified. But anger doesn't have to last forever. Hate doesn't have to define you. You can choose something different. Captain Sora stood and walked to the window. Look out there. See those cities? Those people? 6,000 years ago, we were divided. We fought among ourselves. Nation against nation. Religion against religion. Race against race. We were destroying ourselves. She turned back to face Vextar. Then you came. And you left. And we realized we had to change. We had to become better. Your visit, even though it was violent, saved us. It forced us to unite, to grow up, to become what we are now. So, you're thanking us? Vexstar asked in disbelief. In a way, yes, Tay said. You gave us purpose. You gave us a reason to become better than we were. Without you, we might still be fighting among ourselves. We might have destroyed our own planet. Instead, we built this. He showed displays of Earth's achievements. The colonies. The technology. The art and culture. The peace. We became strong not to conquer, Tay explained, but to protect. We became united not through hate, but through hope. We prepared for war so completely that we could afford to choose peace. Junho stepped forward. He was young, but he wanted to speak. Commander, I'm a fighter pilot. I trained my whole life to defend Earth. I'm very good at it. I could destroy entire fleets if I had to. But you know what? I hope I never have to. I hope I spend my whole life never firing a weapon Ninger. He looked at Vexstar directly. That's what makes us strong. Not our weapons. Our choice. We choose every day to be better than our worst moments. We choose to remember our mistakes and not repeat them. That's real strength. Vexstar felt tears on his face. He didn't try to hide them. We were wrong. About everything? We thought you were monsters. We thought we needed to destroy you before you destroyed the galaxy. We were so sure. You were hurt, Hana said softly. Hurt people hurt others. It's a cycle. But cycles can be broken. How? Vexstar asked. How do we break it? By making a different choice, Nari said. By deciding that today, right now, the past ends and something new begins. Tay stood and walked to Vexstar. He held out his hand. We can't change what happened 6,000 years ago, but we can change what happens next. Will you accept our friendship? Will you help us build peace instead of war? Vexstar looked at the offered hand. In his culture, touching meant trust. Absolute trust. For 6,000 years, the Vren had trusted no one. They had lived in fear and anger. He thought about his people, about the warriors waiting in orbit, about the Vren worlds that had spent thousands of years preparing for this war. What would they think if he accepted this hand? Would they call him a traitor? Would they hate him? Then he thought about the alternative. More war, more death, more hate, another 6,000 years of fear and anger. Never ending, never changing, never healing. He reached out and took Tay's hand. Yes, he said. Yes, teach us. Show us how to be better. Please. Tay smiled and pulled Vexstar into an embrace. The Vren commander stood stiff for a moment, then slowly relaxed. He felt something break inside him. Not break, transform. The weight he had carried his whole life. The hate, the anger, the fear. It began to melt away. Around the room, humans and Vren looked at each other differently. Not as enemies. Not even as strangers. As people who could become friends. Over the next weeks, more Vren came to Earth. They toured the cities. They met the people. They visited the Museum of Preparation and saw what humanity had built. They learned about human culture, human history, human dreams. And humans learned about the Vren, about their beautiful art, their complex music, their deep spirituality, about the pain they had carried for 6,000 years. Young Krell, the Vren pilot, met Junho. They talked about flying, about their training, about their hopes. They discovered they were not so different. They both loved the stars. They both wanted peace. They both wanted their families to be safe. Can I show you something? Junho asked one day. He took Krell to an observation deck. They looked up at space together. 6,000 years ago, our people hurt each other, Junho said. My ancestors hurt yours. Then yours prepared to hurt mine. But look at us now. 2 pilots. 2 friends. We broke the cycle. Krell nodded. My people came here expecting to die fighting monsters. Instead, we found brothers. That's why humans weren't afraid, Junho said. Not because we were stronger, because we knew that if the Vren came back, we could choose peace. We prepared for war so well that we could afford to choose something better. 6 months later, the first treaty was signed. The Vren-Human Alliance. It shocked the galaxy. 2 species that had been enemies for 6,000 years, now partners. Now friends. Admiral Tay stood at the signing ceremony. He was old now, ready to retire. He had spent his whole life preparing for war, and he had won the greatest victory possible. He had chosen peace. People ask me, he said in his speech, why humanity wasn't afraid when the Vren declared war. They think it was our weapons, our technology, our defenses. But that's not the answer. He looked at Vexstar, who stood beside him as an equal. We weren't afraid because we were ready. We were ready because we prepared. And we prepared so we could choose. That's what 6,000 years taught us. True strength isn't about the ability to destroy. It's about the wisdom to build instead. The courage to forgive instead. The love to embrace instead. 50 years passed. The alliance grew. More species joined. The galaxy changed. War became rare. Peace became normal. Children of both species played together, learned together, dreamed together. General Wu, now very old, sat in a garden watching human and Vren children running and laughing. Mina, the teacher, sat beside him. We did it, Wu said quietly. We actually did it. We showed them that the strongest weapon is the one you choose not to use, Mina agreed. We showed them that real courage is choosing kindness over revenge. Do you think they'll remember? Wu asked. In another 6,000 years, will they remember why we weren't afraid? Mina smiled. They'll remember. Because we didn't teach them to be warriors.